Chapter 2006. Low-rank Magical Beast Zone 1. Looking at the mess, Su Luo sighed slightly. It was really hard for her to do the housework. It was not something her character would do. Then what's to be done? Su Luo began to think about whether she had any help in this aspect. After thinking for a while, she finally thought of it. Su Luo asked the variant acacia tree to go out, like the big bad wolf who tricked a child, trying to persuade it to help clean up the mess here. Who would have knows? Su Luo just said a sentence, and the variant acacia tree excitedly swayed her branch, moving left and right. It's my honor to be able to do things for Master. With that, she happily began to clean up the house. As if it was her greater honor that Su Luo gave this task to her, letting her make use of her skill. Su Luo touched her head and began to reflect. Did she leave her pets too idle? While watching the variant acacia tree was as hardworking as a housekeeping ant, Su Luo takes out a red fruit and nibbled it leisurely, but thought about it in her mind. These days, her cultivation had been improving, but she neglected one thing, that is, her spirit pets. They had been staying in her space all the time, and there was little opportunity to improve. Blind protection was really not for them. If she waited until her own strength were stronger than them, then they could only be reduced to real pets, not fighting pets. Their innate skill was exceptional, so wasting it like this was recklessly wasting a god's gift. Thinking of this, Su Luo decides to let her spirit pet's strength quickly become stronger. Now she had a plant pet, the variant acacia tree, in her hand. Fighting pets had the little spirit fox, little sable, and the yin luo red lotus. Little stone and the yin luo red lotus merged into one. As for the little divine dragon, it's been taken back to the dragon family, and it was unknown when it would return. So now Su Luo wanted to strengthen the variant acacia tree and the others. How to arrange them? Su Luo's eyes moved to Big Sister Wei, who was lying on the ground and sleeping soundly. A smile slowly appeared on the lips. She was not so kind-hearted to support the strong Big Sister free of charge. Previously, she arranged Big Sister Wei to help her earn points. There were many ways to earn points, but the most suitable way for Big Sister Wei was to go outside the city to fight monsters. According to the information on the Light Brain, Su Luo knew that the area outside the Genius Training Camp was the Magical Beast Zone, and the magical beasts had points in their body. Su Luo gritted her teeth and spent 5,000 points to exchange for the map of the shallow Magical Beast Zone from her Light Brain. Then she spent another 5,000 points to exchange for the detailed explanation map of Magical Beast from the Light Brain. It took Su Luo a night to put all the maps of the shallow Magical Beast Zone into her mind. The Genius Training Camp had 3 levels of Magical Beast Zone. They were Peak Magical Beast Zone, Critical Magical Beast Zone, and Shallow Magical Beast Zone. Respectively correspond to Monarch rank, Saint rank, and Commander rank. With Su Luo's current strength, she could only go to the Shallow Magical Beast Zone where the rank of the magical beasts was at the Commander rank to earn points. Then, Su Luo spent a few more hours remembering all kinds of magical beasts and medicinal herbs that would appear in the Shallow Magical Beast Zone. When she was finished, she finally stuffed the drawings into her space, rubbed her swollen head, and kicked older Sister Wei, who was still sleeping soundly on her back. Older Sister Wei turned over and jumped up in an instant, putting on an attacking stance. Chapter 2007. Low-rank Magical Beast Zone 2. Su Luo glanced unhappily at her. I'm going to go out. What are you going to do? I'll follow you. Big Sister Wei looked blank, but she followed Su Luo closely. But I'm going to fight. It will be very dangerous, and it will endanger your life. Su Luo looked at her with a smile. Unexpectedly, the more Su Luo talked about it, the more excited Big Sister Wei was. In the end, her face was red and she waved her fist. Fight! 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 Su Luo was speechless. Hongyu was right. This Big Sister Wei was really a fighting maniac. It seemed that there was nothing other than a fight that could attract her. However, now such a good thug fell into her hands, the heaven really helped her. Su Luo was secretly happy in her heart, but her face was indifferent and coldly said, It's fine if you want to follow me, but you can't take action without my command. When Big Sister Wei heard that, she was suddenly displeased and glared resentfully at Su Luo, and waved her fist. If you want me to obey you, you should beat me first, then talk about it. As she said this, she put on a stance and was about to start a fight with Su Luo. Su Luo's mouth twitched slightly. She held her forehead. It seemed that this free thug was not so easy to take advantage of. Su Luo coldly snorted. Why so brave when you have suffered defeat? You were beaten by me yesterday, and you still want to compete? I'm not going to compete with you. Big Sister Wei was felt wronged. Su Luo glanced at her. If you want to compete at the end of the month on the Dragon Cloud Pagoda, see who climbed higher. The Dragon Cloud Pagoda was the place to test the dragon list ranking. The last 5 days at the end of every month was the most lively time of the Dragon Cloud Pagoda. At that time, the Dragon Cloud Pagoda determined the top 3 of the bottom mountain, and then they could participate in the Dragon Cloud Pagoda in the downstream mountain. The top 3 of the Dragon Cloud Pagoda in the downstream mountain could go to the Dragon Cloud Pagoda in the midstream mountain, and so on. As long as the strength was strong enough, it would okay to be promoted to the top 10 in the dragon list within a month. Su Luo decided that she would break through at the end of the month for the Dragon Cloud Pagoda. She didn't want to live in this crazy bottom mountain anymore. After listening to Su Luo's suggestion, Big Sister Wei froze for a moment, then nodded vigorously. Good. It's better in the Dragon Cloud Pagoda. So in this more than half a month time, Su Luo easily settled this time bomb Big Sister Wei. Then, Su Luo took out a bunch of foods to eat, and in these food, she added her personal celestial spirit water from her space. Those who consumed celestial water had a natural sense of closeness to Su Luo. And to those who had deficiency in the brain like Big Sister Wei, it was even more effective. Big Sister Wei completely didn't have any vigilance toward Su Luo. She ate whatever Su Luo gave her. With her mouth full of grease, she was very satisfied. Su Luo was satisfied seeing that Big Sister Wei was eating heartily, and there was a smile in her eyes, smile as sly as a fox. She stretched out her white and slender hand and patted Big Sister Wei's head. Her tone started to be very amiable. Remember? You owed me 100,000 points before. Big Sister Wei, who was stuffing a mouthful of roasted chicken legs, tilted her head and thought for a while, and then she continued to nibble at the chicken legs. Su Luo continued to trick her. You see, you owe me so many points, you have to pay it back, right? It was right and proper to pay back a debt. Big Sister Wei still knew this, so she nodded her head as she nibbled on the chicken leg. Delicious chicken legs. It would be nice if she could eat this every day. Big Sister Wei was afraid that she couldn't eat them in the future, and desperately stuffed the chicken meat into her mouth. Chapter 2008. Low-Rank Magical Beast Zone 3, Su Luo's delicious food, which was roasted by nine-tailed little fox. All of them went into Big Sister Wei's stomach. This was not a matter of 1 or 2, but 20. Su Luo's food for 20 days was finished by Big Sister Wei all at once. After nibbling the last one, Big Sister Wei touched her stomach with dissatisfaction and frowned. She's not full yet. Su Luo was speechless. If she eat like this, she can't afford it. It seemed that she must try her best to squeeze her to earn the maximum economic benefits. So Su Luo's face turned serious and said straightforwardly, if you want to eat these delicious roasted chicken, you have to fight the monsters, understand? Big Sister Wei understood this sentence very well, so she nodded like her life depended on it to express her agreement. Su Luo prepared a lot of food to put into her space, and then took Big Sister Wei out for a stroll, and headed toward the shallow magical beast zone in the east. Along the way, everyone saw Su Luo and Big Sister Wei walking together, they all looking at Su Luo with envious eyes. This newly promoted assessment candidate just came in, but already had older Sister Wei's protection. This person's luck was very good. From now on, she could overbearingly walk all over the bottom mountain. But people felt that it was strange. Normally a newcomer should be the servant, and Wei Hua was the big sister en note, or boss. But now the newcomer was walking in front, and Big Sister Wei followed slavishly behind. What's going on? Everyone couldn't understand. Su Luo saw the people's bewildered expression. She's secretly happy in her heart, but she didn't show it on her face. With rigid face and serious appearance, she quickly moved toward shallow magical beast zone. Along the way, several teams rushed past Su Luo and disappeared quickly. In fact, when hunting in the magical beast zone, everyone was used to hunt in a group. Because the magical beast zone was very dangerous, there were large number of magical beasts running rampant everywhere. If people were not careful, they could be surrounded and thus losing their life. The group was usually more than 10 people, and it was very rare to move towards the magical beast zone like Su Luo. So, when those people passed by Su Luo, they occasionally glanced at her with mocking eyes. Big Sister Wei's brain was not very bright, but her speed was very fast. After walking in a fast pace for about 2 hours, she could easily see the green forest. The ancient trees in the forest area were hiding the sky and covering the earth, and it could be seen that these ancient trees had a long history and could be older than the existence of Purgatory City. Su Luo explained to Big Sister Wei, who had been silent all the time. After entering the magical beast zone, remember clearly, do not rush and fight as you please. Wait for my call, then fight, remember. Su Luo was not afraid of anything else. She was afraid that Big Sister Wei would brandish her fist and bombarded the magical beast forest. She can't bear the consequences now. Big Sister Wei pursed her mouth, her head hung down, showing her unwillingness. Su Luo could only use roasted chicken legs to say things. If you don't agree, I will give you less chicken leg at noon. This method was effective for children under the age of 3, and it was also very effective on Big Sister Wei. No. Big Sister Wei waved her fist fiercely and glared at Su Luo. If you want 20 roasted chicken legs, you have to be obedient. Su Luo stared at her coldly. Big Sister Wei nodded her head with grievance. Su Luo shook her head silently. This was really like coaxing a child. After removing the time bomb of Big Sister Wei, Su Luo was relieved. Then, they stepped into the magical beast forest. From the first step she set foot here, the battle began. Chapter 2009, Low-Rank Magical Beast Zone 4. Su Luo purchased the second volume of Spirit Dance Steps, which cost 10,000 points, and then purchased an S-Class outfit, which cost 50,000 points. Su Luo finally got 150,000 points from Big Sister Wei's lackeys, but the originally 150,000 points, all of a sudden there were only 90,000 left. These 90,000 points also could not be preserved, because previously Su Luo's eyes turned to the light brain and saw a pure spirit fruit. Pure spirit fruit was not very useful for human beings, but it was an excellent fruit for magical beasts. After taking it, the magical beast would absorb a lot more spirit energy and became more effective. In other words, promotion would be very fast. A pure spirit fruit, 30,000 points. Su Luo looked at her remaining 90,000 points. Then she looked at her spirit pets who sat in circle, waiting anxiously and looking at her expectantly. Su Luo wiped her tears. Silently determined so. The 9-tailed little fox, little sable, and variant acacia tree, one by one, they all nibbling contentedly. As for the Yin Luo red lotus, this pure spirit fruit was useless to it. What it needed was the fire crystal stone. Only by swallowing fire crystal stone could it slowly grow. The Yin Luo red lotus once told Su Luo about this, but she couldn't find it all over the mainland. Even though she entrusted it to an auction house, there was no news at all. But when Su Luo opened her light brain, she found it. 10,000 points for one. Su Luo felt very dizzy. She really couldn't afford it. One fire crystal stone cost 10,000 points, but obviously the Yin Luo red lotus did not merely need 1 or 2. Therefore Su Luo could only console it. Let's go to the magical beast zone. As long as you work hard, you all would have the pure spirit fruit and the fire crystal stone you want. Little Red Lotus could only watch Su Luo turn off the light brain. So in this shallow magical beast zone, Su Luo must come. She needed many points to exchange for the treasure she wanted. Outside the magical beast zone. Because she intended to let her pets to learn through experience, so this time, Su Luo didn't store them or conceal them. She let out all her little spirit pets. Big Sister Wei suddenly saw a lot of lively little animals. As if they were falling from the sky, she assumed a fighting posture. Fortunately, Su Luo was quick to respond and quickly stopped her. No. These are all my spirit pets, you can't fight them. Su Luo wiped the cold sweat on her forehead. She was very clear about the strength of Big Sister Wei. These little guys who were only 10th ranked in strength were not her opponents. One by one they would be beaten down. Big Sister Wei curled her lips in disgust. With just this strength, they are not worth any points. They're also skinny and has no meat. They can't make money or be roasted. Who would want them? Big Sister Wei's words provoked anger. The several little guys surrounded Big Sister Wei, glared at her angrily and quarreled with her. Big Sister Wei couldn't understand their animal language, but this didn't prevent everyone from arguing with each other. Big Sister Wei said that these little guys were useless, and the several little guys expressed that they could mess with Big Sister Wei's head together. Su Luo watched as these guys were about to start a fight. She could not help but sighed gloomily, lamenting that it was not good to be the head of the household. Big Sister Wei was really honest. She didn't look that the opposite sides was little animals. She stood up and quarreled. Each one refused to give in to the other. At this time, everyone was still on the outside of the shallow magical beast zone. Because of this noise, a group of magical beasts was disturbed. Su Luo felt a dangerous breath approaching quickly towards this side, and she hurriedly stopped them from arguing with each other. Chapter 2010, Low-Rank Magical Beast Zone 5. It's no use quarreling only using your mouth, it's better to see the truth using your hands. Su Luo guided them. Don't you feel it? A big wave of monsters are approaching here. When they heard that there's monsters, the quarrel stopped instantly. Big Sister Wei and the little spirit pets were shocked for a while. Then their faces were full of pleasant surprise. What did a wave of monsters mean? Points, of course. What did points mean? Their food. So with a whooshing a sound, everyone stood in line in front of Su Luo, waiting for Su Luo's command. 9-headed fire round snakes. Su Luo had a map of the magical beasts and medicinal herbs in the shallow magical beast zone before, so she knew the magical beasts here like the back of her hand. There are 15 of which are at the peak of the 10th rank, and the other 5 are at the beginning of the commander rank. Su Luo completed her analysis. The peak of 10th rank, 1 point for one magical beast. But the commander rank from 1 star to 9 stars, respectively 10 to 90 points. If you want to win or lose, just use the points as the criteria. When you get out of the magical beast zone, whoever has more points will win. How about that? Su Luo asked with a smirk, smiling like a sly fox. Only when there's competition could there be progress. If there's no competition, there would be no motivation. So when she saw the two sides fighting, she was very happy. So, she silently led their competition to the right direction. The several little things all agreed, and Big Sister Wei nodded solemnly. Su Luo didn't want to participate in the battle with the 9-headed fire snakes. She decided to carefully observe these little helpers under her hand. The 9-headed little round snakes didn't know that they had been viewed as the spoils. At this time, one by one they hissed with ferocious eyes and approaching quietly. When they got close to each other, Big Sister Wei was the first one who couldn't hold back and shouted, "Kill!" Then, her burly and majestic body emerged, holding a wide and long knife, and rushed into the 9-headed little round snakes, chopping them like vegetables. The several little animals were shocked to see Big Sister Wei's ferocity. However, they soon got back to their senses and rushed in to handle the ones at the commander rank. These commander rank were all 1 star or 2 stars, so it was not so difficult to deal with them. Su Luo looked at the evil murderous attitude of Big Sister Wei, and cold sweat dripped down. It seemed that she still underestimated Big Sister Wei's mad love for fighting. At this time, she was using a long knife, stabbing it in, and then scarlet blood violently rushed out in an instant, spurted out everywhere. Big Sister Wei licked her tongue excitedly, waving her knife and rushing to the next target, as if her whole body was excited. Big Sister Wei's head was completely fighting with the rashness of a bandit. Using her unique natural power and the attitude of one man could hold out against 10,000. If Big Sister Wei was relying on strength, then the several little animals relying on intelligence. The 9-tailed little fox was in the middle. The variant acacia tree extended its golden vine, rolled up a 9-headed little round snake and threw it over. At this time the little sable was ready. So when the variant acacia tree throwing it over, the 9 little spirit fox used the little sheep changing technique, and turned the ferocious 9-headed little round snake into a lovable little lamb. Then, just as the lamb fell to the ground, the little sable quickly swatted it using its paw. Pa. The poor nine-headed little round snake hadn't understood what had happened since being rolled up then fly, but its head had been smashed into bits. Chapter 2011. Low-Rank Magical Beast Zone 6. The little spirit pets followed this line of operation. With smooth and well coordination, they achieved very good results. In less than an hour, this large wave of nine-headed little round snakes had been wiped out, and everyone began to calculate the points. Big Sister Wei was fierce and unstoppable. She killed 2 stars of commander rank, and 8 the peak of 10th rank. The several little spirit pets killed 3 1-star of commander rank, and 12 peak of 10th rank. Big Sister Wei scored 48 points in total. Little spirit pets had 42 points. Seeing this result, the little spirit pets were dumbfounded, and then they all walked toward Su Luo pitifully. Su Luo poked them with her fingers one by one. You guys coordinated, and you can't even beat Big Sister Wei, but you still have the nerve to pretend to be pitiful? You really make your master lose face. Remember to get it back next time, okay? MN. The 3 little spirit pets nodded their heads vigorously, and then gave Big Sister Wei a provocative glance. At this time, Su Luo took out her diamond token with a smile. Her diamond token was given by the city master. When she brushed a magical beast, it could multiply the points by 5, which was much better than others. At this time, Su Luo took out her diamond card with a smile. Su Luo even thought that the city master gave her this diamond token to encourage her to kill more magical beasts to learn through experience. 90 points, multiplied by 5, that is 450 points. There are 450 points in one fight, which is much better than in the Angel Castle. Su Luo proudly put away the diamond token. She also knew that the Angel Castle was mainly for people in the outer city to earn points. The difficulty was not very great. There was danger everywhere in this magical beast zone. So the points of the magical beasts would be worth more. After putting away the diamond token, Su Luo beckoned the group to continue on the way. Because they wanted to learn through experience, so they did not take the convenient path, but walked in straight line towards the center. Although it was the shallow magical beast zone, it was extremely vast. According to Su Luo's calculation, this area was larger than China on the earth. The battle was completed very easily, and everyone continued to advance after a short break. The magical beasts in the shallow magical beast zone, the strength would not be too strong. Because magical beasts were territorial, the more powerful the magical beast, the more territorial they were. The common living area would be the center of the forest. As for the peripheral areas, the strongest was 5 stars of commander rank. But even so, Su Luo's harvest was still very good. For 5 consecutive days, Su Luo could earn more than 10,000 points every day. There were points to take, and also could use the magical beasts to train themselves. Su Luo and her team were busy. At noon that day, the battle ended very quickly. Because this battle was with a group of magical beast rabbits. These red-eyed magical beast rabbits were very, very small, about the size of a palm. And the big sister looked at this little magical beast rabbits one by one. Her round eyes wide opened, and her saliva flowed down 3,000 feet. Su Luo smiled bitterly, then decided to suspend the battle for a while. Okay, that's all for this morning's battle. Wash your hands, wash your paws and prepare the fire. Under Su Luo's lead, these small group of little things also liked the buttered roasted meat. Little Sable also learned the unique skill of barbecue from the 9-tailed little fox. Only Big Sister Wei that only knew how to eat one bite at a time. Su Luo lavishly washed everyone's hands with celestial spirit water, and then put out a lot of tools and seasonings for the barbecue. After making Big Sister Wei skin and clean the magical beast rabbits, the fat sister strung the little rabbits on the iron needle, brushed with a layer of butter, and then it was roasted. Chapter 2012. Low-Rank Magical Beast Zone 7. For a while, the scent permeated the whole place, looking very appetizing. Su Luo couldn't help but think of the little divine dragon. At that time, that little guy also loved to eat roasted meat. Don't know if there's anything to eat after he returned to the dragon clan. Just when Su Luo thought of the little divine dragon, the little sable turned over the roasted rabbit which was almost cooked, and its sly eyes glanced at the drooling Big Sister Wei. Humph, This big sister Wei who had been fighting with them is not cute at all. The vengeful little sable looked at the big sister with a smile. It's so fragrant, big sister Wei grunted and swallowed deeply. She almost could not bear it. Close your eyes, open your mouth. Big sister Wei had been waiting for a while, so she smiled and hurriedly closed her eyes and opened her mouth. But after waiting for a while, she didn't find the food falling into her mouth. She was unhappy and hastily opened her eyes, but saw Su Luo, who was sitting on the opposite side, was holding and eating the roasted rabbit. Big sister Wei was angry. For the sake of food, big sister Wei endured and tolerated it again. After she endured the burning rage, the little sable gave the roasted meat to the nine-tailed little spirit fox. Bang! A heavy fist ferociously smashed the ground. The big sister stood up angrily and stared at the little sable. She wanted to fight with it. The little sable said angrily, "You are so big, these little rabbits are not enough for you to eat. If you have the ability, you can go fight the big one." Sister Wei heard that. It was indeed so. Then she glared at the little sable with hate, touched her stomach and left angrily. When she returned, everyone was taken aback, especially Su Luo. "This is..." Su Luo threw away the bone she had nibbled. She quickly went up and swept the head of the magical beast with the diamond token. 9-star magical beast. Su Luo looked at big sister Wei incredulously. "This 7-tailed little divine deer is almost extinct, and it was found by you." Su Luo had to admire big sister Wei for her good fortune. When she wanted to eat, it was the 7-tailed little divine deer with the delicious meat. It was the top 3 in the food list of Purgatory City. Although the 7-tailed little divine deer was less than 20 jin, it was worth 5,000 points. This was just food, but it's worth 5,000 points. The little sable had nothing to say to Sister Wei. After skinning and cleaning it, it really helped her roasted it. When the fragrance filled the air, the big sister Wei's nose kept moving, never stopped. Not only her, but also Su Luo, who was almost unable to bear it. The 7-tailed little divine deer, plus the high grade of celestial spirit water, as well as the secret barbecue spice made by Su Luo. Under the strong combination, the smell, fragrant, it was too fragrant. At this time, 7-tailed little divine deer has been roasted to the point where the oil was bright yellow, and could be eaten by daubing the seasoning again. Sister Wei closed her eyes intoxicatedly, breathed deeply, breathed again, endured. Suddenly, Su Luo felt that there's something wrong with the air around her. When she came back to her senses, Su Luo stood up. "Where's the 7-tailed little divine deer?" Yes, the 7-tailed little divine deer that was strung on the wire was gone. Big sister Wei stared at the clean wire. Her eyes were like a raging fire. She was furious. There. Su Luo's finger pointed to the east. Chapter 2013. Low-rank magical beast zone, 8. That was a huge figure. Just now, it stretched out its long and thin nose and swept away the roasted 7-tailed little divine deer. Big sister Wei was mad. She waited for so long, endured for so long, swallowed nearly 1 jin of saliva, but another caught it first. Uncle may be able to bear it, but Aunt could not bear it. Without waiting for Su Luo's order, big sister Wei picked up the mallet on the side, shouted loudly, and rushed up with a large stride. In the beginning, big sister Wei used a long knife, but because she killed too many enemies, the long knife was bent, so it couldn't be used. So Su Luo searched in her space and found for a huge mallet made of deep-sea refined black iron. Su Luo remembered that she got this mallet when she won the lucky draw in the roaming dragon's secret territory. Because she couldn't use it all the time, she threw it into the corner to get dusty. When Su Luo gave this mallet to big sister Wei, her eyes at that time were as happy as meeting her parents. She almost cried to Su Luo. Then big sister Wei loved this mallet so much that she even slept with it in her arms at night, and hitting monsters with it in the daytime just like a hammer, and she specially took care people at the back of her head. Now big sister Wei was carrying her mallet, and rushing to catch up with the thief who stole the food. Su Luo was afraid that big sister Wei would lose, so she hurriedly called out to these foolish little guys. "Don't be stunned, pack up, and don't let big sister Wei lose." However, when Su Luo thought that the 9-star seven-tailed little divine deer could be knocked unconscious in the head with the mallet, the guy who stole the food should also be difficult to escape from the big sister's magical hand. But on a second thought, to be able to approach silently within the scope of her and the big sister's senses, and not discovered by the two of them until it had stolen the food, which was enough to show how powerful the other side was. The more Su Luo thought about it, the more uneasy she was, and the faster her speed was. As for Big Sister Wei, she was indeed really miserable today. She was hungry. She finally waited for the delicious food with great difficulty, but someone get it first. Now, as she was hungry, the big sister rushed forward with the mallet. In the front, it was strange-looking magical beast. If Su Luo was there, she would definitely recognize it. This was an extremely precious magical beast, which was called Devil-Eyed Green Poisonous Taotai. It had another name, called Foodie. In the mission hall, there was a reward for the mission of capturing the Devil-Eyed Green Poisonous Taotai, for 200,000 points. It could be seen how valuable this magical beast was. In fact, the most precious part of the Devil-Eyed Green Poisonous Taotais was its internal pellet, which was a good material for refining Spirit Surging Pill. In other words, as long as this internal pellet was in Su Luo's hands, she could refine the master-grade Spirit Surging Pill, which would greatly help her promote. Now Big Sister Wei still didn't know how precious the magical beast she was chasing. She only knew that the dark and ugly bastard in front of her stole her seven-tailed little divine deer. Hateful. Big Sister Wei saw that the more she chased, the faster the little thing in front of her ran, and then it disappeared in a flash. She was so angry that her lungs was going to explode. Stupid people were often very persistent. In the eyes of ordinary people, there was no way to chase it down. She could only give up, but Big Sister Wei did not. Her mind was stubborn until the end, and she never knew what it meant to be flexible. Chapter 2014, Low-Rank Magical Beast Zone 9. Therefore, even if Big Sister Wei couldn't see the beast's figure, she still hurried to catch up to it. This poisonous green-eyed devil Foodie really had bad luck. With the meat delicacy in his mouth, he had taken off wildly without a chance to even take a bite. Madwoman. Poisonous green-eyed devil had never seen a person so crazy for food. Cold sweat dripped when he recalled what happened. So fragrant. The poisonous green-eyed devil just finished eating his meal, and something unexpectedly happened. Wow. Isn't that poisonous green-eyed devil? We are rich. The two young men were searching for magical beasts, but they saw the poisonous green-eyed devil instead. Their eyes immediately brightened up. Shit. Doesn't the poisonous green-eyed devil live in the center of the forest? Why did it come here? A huge amount of points just walked to our door. Let's catch it quickly. Therefore, these two young men rushed up immediately and started pursuing this gluttonous poisonous green-eyed devil. You had to say that this poisonous green-eyed devil was cursed. The strength of poisonous green-eyed devil was at 7 stars, which placed it firmly in the advanced commander rank. Its best trait was its speed, not its strength or stamina. These two young men were at 5 stars of intermediate commander rank, but their best ability was attack. Therefore, the strength of two sides were equal. The battle was very fierce. The battle went on for about 15 minutes, and the poor poisonous green-eyed devil was beaten up so badly that even his ancestors wouldn't be able to recognize him. He motionlessly laid on the ground. No one knew whether it was dead or alive. Hey, this poisonous green-eyed devil Foodie, its inner core worth 200,000 points. We made a fortune, ha ha ha. Why don't we just sneak it back without telling the boss? Of course. 200,000 points. We'll split it 100,000 points for each of us, okay? The two young men approached poisonous green-eyed devil. The man walking behind smirked in the corner of his mouth, and a dagger suddenly appeared in his hand. Slash. A clear sound of a dagger entered the flesh of the young man. The young man was stunned, and his eyes widened in disbelief. He silently turned his head and angrily said, "Big Brother Hua." After saying these words, his body fell to the ground. Behind him, 7th Brother Hua pulled out his dagger and sneered. Why don't you let me enjoy 200,000 points alone? And the dead will not reveal secrets. 7th Brother Hua turned away and held the dagger, step by step walking toward the gluttonous poisonous green-eyed devil. At this moment, a mad woman with a broad shoulder and mallet stick rushed down from the hill and shouted, "Dare to steal my beasts, you're courting death." Before the words were spoken out, her figure had already arrived in front of seventh brother Hua. "Take this." Big sister Wei smashed the mallet directly on the head of seventh brother Hua, who got so frightened that he immediately jumped back. Within their first meeting, seventh brother Hua realized that this mad woman was not easy to mess with. She was really a lunatic. She actually attacked without saying a word, and her attack was very powerful. Seventh brother Hua's mind scrambled, but he realized that he couldn't beat big sister Wei. So he quickly raised his hands and surrendered. Wait. Let's talk. Chapter 2015. Low-rank magical beast zone 10. But big sister Wei, the fighting maniac, was obviously not a good talker. She glared angrily. "The roasted meat is gone and still want to talk to me?" "Roasted meat?" Seventh brother Hua's eyes brightened. If this crazy woman only wanted the roasted meat, the meat of this devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai is all yours, okay? I don't want any. Seventh brother Hua saw that big sister Sei was a fool and easy to use. Then he had a good idea. "You think I'm a fool?" Big sister Wei sneered. This ugly beast's meat was all folded together. She knew it was not delicious at first sight. She only needed her seven-tailed little divine deer. Seventh brother Hua was silently sweating and thought to himself, "I really think you are a fool. I didn't expect you to be stupid." Of course, if big sister Wei said what she had in mind at this time, seventh brother Hua would certainly help without saying anything further. Therefore, the way to accomplish a peaceful settlement was just missed. "This devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai was killed by me. You can't snatch it, okay? Why don't you leave me some soup?" Even the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai were full at that time, eating a fragrant meat. Seventh brother Hua tried to discuss. It's a pity that seventh brother Hua miscalculated. This sentence destroyed him. Big sister Wei's face was fierce and asked, "Did you see him eating little divine deer?" "Amen." Seventh brother Hua didn't know it was a seven-tailed little divine deer. He only knew to listen to big sister Wei at this time. Who would have thought that big sister Wei was furious in the next moment? "You saw it, and you actually didn't stop it." "Ah." Big sister Wei was furious, and the big mallet with threatening cold air pointed toward the scared seventh brother Hua. "Don't talk nonsense, eat my mallet." The poor seventh brother Hua hadn't realized his own mistake. Then he saw a violent murderous aura with the power of the heaven and earth coming down from the mid-air. "Fuck." Seventh brother Hua said a foul word and started running. But how could big sister Wei let him go so easily? Unexpectedly, he saw the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai and didn't stop it, which completely infuriated big sister Wei. So the fighting maniac big sister Wei swung her mallet and chased after him. The poor seventh brother Hua was being chased. He was scared witless and hurriedly fled. On the ground, the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, who was originally lying down and pretending to be dead, secretly opened his eyes a bit and carefully observed the surroundings. He saw that the fierce strange woman and the vicious bad man were engaged in battle. The devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai quietly moved his hands and feet. He took the chance to ran at lightning speed and disappeared from the battlefield. And over there, big sister Wei was hitting seventh brother Hua with the mallet. Seventh brother Hua really suffered. "Hey, crazy woman. If you want to beat me, why don't you kill that devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai first? That one hasn't died yet. Who knows if he will take advantage of this situation and run away." What seventh brother Hua was saying was just a way of delaying. He was prepared to slip away when big sister Wei went to handle the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, and then he would brought his big brother to come over and deal with big sister Wei. This sentence really reminded big sister Wei that for her, the most hateful one was obviously that thief, the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. So big sister Wei simply turned her head to see the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai who were originally lying on the ground. Seventh brother Hua also turned his head to see. This one glance made seventh brother Hua had an impulse to hit a wall. The devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai ran away. He actually ran away. Big sister Wei's anger value, which originally decreased a bit, suddenly soared to the full value. She pointed to seventh brother Hua with the heavy mallet. You let him run away. Damn you. Chapter 2016. Low-rank magical beast zone 11. Seventh brother Hua didn't expect that his own suggestion caused such a big disaster. He wanted to cry for a while. He wanted to remind Big Sister Wei that she should quickly go after the devil-eyed green poisonous Taodai. If she didn't go, it would vanish. But Big Sister Wei's mallet fell like raindrops, smashing heavily countless of times. There's not enough time to block it. When would he had the free time to remind this? Bang! Big Sister Wei smashed seventh brother Hua with the heavy mallet again and again, which made him stumble and face the soil. Then our Big Sister Wei aggressively put her foot on the seventh brother Hua's spine. The bones in seventh brother Hua's body were making crunching sound, and his spine was displaced for several sections. Seventh brother Hua's forehead was painful and dripping with cold sweat, but he did not even dare to cry out, because he knew that as long as he dared to scream, Big Sister Wei's mallet would dare to hit him on the back of his head. Older sister, what do you want? I beg you to tell this younger one your request. Seventh brother Hua, who was being trampled on to death, he couldn't cry even if he wanted to. Big Sister Wei arrogantly used her toes to crush seventh brother Hua's back. Seventh brother Hua was feeling so painful until his tears and snot came out. Do you know who I am? Big Sister Wei patted her chest. How would I know which crazy woman you are? Seventh brother Hua's tears silently flowed. I'm the boss of the bottom mountain, have you heard of me? Big Sister Wei coldly snorted. How do you want me to answer? Seventh brother Hua felt an extreme headache. Therefore, he could only choose a way not to anger Big Sister Wei, and nodded quickly. I have heard you, of course I have heard of you, you are that one. Seventh brother Hua gave a thumbs up to Big Sister Wei, but secretly scolded in his heart. Who would know that you are the boss on the bottom mountain? I know that you are a crazy woman. Why don't you go away earlier? Big Sister Wei frowned coldly and stepped heavily on her feet. Since you know, you actually dare you provoke me. Your guilt add another one. Seventh brother Hua really wanted to kneel to Big Sister Wei. He didn't expect to provoke her like this. If he said he hadn't heard of her, wouldn't this crazy woman say, "You have never heard of me? Damn you." And then the crazy woman would smash his head open with the mallet? At the thought of this situation, seventh brother Hua felt his body shivering all over, trembling and shaking, just like convulsions. What will you use to compensate me? Big Sister Wei finally changed her position that were like an overlord to the Tower of Heaven, squatting beside seventh brother Hua's head, holding her cheeks in both hands and blinking her eyes. Hua Qiga sniffed and choked with sobs. What do you want? As long as you say, this small one will find a way to get it for you, okay? You actually have everything? Big Sister Wei's eyes suddenly lit up. She looked at seventh brother Hua with amazement, and then stood up. Seventh brother Hua suddenly had a very bad hunch. What does this crazy woman want to do? However, before seventh brother Hua could react, he only felt that the sky and the earth were spinning around, and he almost fainted. When he came back to his senses, he actually saw the crazy woman was groping his chest. Hey! What are you doing? Don't mess around, It's robbing for money, not a robbing for an affair, Seventh brother Hua was really in tears this time. As long as he thought that Big Sister Wei, with a crushing weight of Mount Tai, forcing herself upon him, he would really die. Chapter 2017. Low-rank magical beast zone 12. Big Sister Wei thought that he struggled to annoy her. She gave him a slap on his face, so seventh brother Hua was stunned and the world was quiet. Big Sister Wei began to take things out of seventh brother Hua's chest. What's more, in Big Sister Wei's cognitive world, you were defeated by me. Even you are all mine. What's wrong with me searching you? Big Sister Wei's lackeys had already been accustomed to being a bandit and robbing things, and now Big Sister Wei followed suit. Soon, a white jade box was taken out by her. What's this? Big Sister Wei thought about it and then opened it. So Big Sister Wei impolitely took something out of seventh brother Hua's chest. Inside the white jade box was a crystal stone, as if it was sparkling and translucent, but the crystal stone was burning with flames. Fire crystal stone? Su Luo finally found Big Sister Wei. The first thing she saw was the fire crystal stone in her hand, and her eyes were staring straight at it. That's a good stuff, ah. Su Luo saw that Big Sister Wei threw the fire crystal stone into the mud, and she began to admire her. Here. Seeing Su Luo admired it, so she handed the fire crystal stone that she threw to the ground to Su Luo. Seventh brother Hua on the ground glared at Su Luo, then looked at Sister Wei, and worshipped Su Luo with the eyes as if he was looking at a fairy. Well done, I'll make you roasted chicken legs for dinner. Su Luo patted Big Sister Wei on the shoulder. The expressionless Big Sister Wei suddenly burst into a smile, showing her white teeth. She smiled very happily and very satisfied. On the ground, seventh brother Hua stared at Su Luo, and then looked at Big Sister Wei. He looked at Su Luo as if he wanted to worship Su Luo. Roasted chicken legs for a fire crystal stone that worth 50,000 points? And the crazy woman still smiled so happily, as if she had obtained a great benefit? Heavens, heavens, seventh brother Hua felt his brain ache. If it's not the world that was too crazy, then it was his cognition that was too backward. Seventh brother Hua still unwilling give up. He begged and wanted to talk over it with Big Sister Wei. How about I'll give you 10 drumsticks and you let me go? Sister Wei looked at brother Huachiga with calm eyes. Her glance was transient, as if she was looking at a stone. Seventh brother Hua's face, which was originally smiling and full of expectation, gradually withered. Do you think I'm an idiot? Big Sister Wei glared angrily. How could 10 drumsticks enough for her meal? How could seventh brother Hua know that Big Sister Wei's calculation method was so weird? He thought that Big Sister Wei saw that he was taking advantage, so he could only beg for mercy. I didn't say so, I didn't say so. Bang. Big Sister Wei slapped him on the head and glared at him. It made her mouth water, but now she contradicted herself. So hateful. The poor seventh brother Hua was slapped on the head by Big Sister Wei, and his head was like a mosquito coils. Big Sister Wei went into his chest again, but couldn't find anything, so she couldn't help but to be anxious. Even if there's one chicken leg is also fine, ah. Why is there nothing? Big Sister Wei was extremely hungry at this time, because she had been fighting beasts, consuming a lot of physical strength. Now she could even swallow a piece of raw meat without hesitation. But she spent a long time searching in Hua's seventh brother Hua's chest, but he didn't even have anything to eat. Big Sister Wei was very anxious. So Big Sister Wei was very rude, tearing seventh brother Hua clothes. Rip dash. The sound was very clear. Seventh brother Hua looked at Big Sister Wei with fierce eyes, suddenly felt he could not catch his breath. He subconsciously covered his lower body, crying and said with shaking voice, You, what do you want? Chapter 2018. Pursued Relentlessly 1. Seventh brother Hua was afraid. He covered his body and didn't let Big Sister Wei see it. But Big Sister Wei went and swatted seventh brother Hua's hand, and threatened fiercely. If you don't take it out, I will kill you. So scary. Seventh brother Hua's hands shook and silently moved his 2 hands away. Big Sister Wei looked at his body, but there's nothing, and she suddenly became angry. Then Big Sister Wei lifted seventh brother Hua upside down. Seventh brother Hua didn't expect this move, and he even forgot to struggle for a while. In this moment, the hidden things in seventh brother Hua's body suddenly fell down. These things were either hidden in his back or in his sleeves. Now they were all poured out. With these things, Big Sister Wei snorted again, and then threw the completely exploited seventh brother Hua to the ground. Big Sister Wei was busy collecting her loot. Finally, Big Sister Wei gathered many things on the ground. There were master-grade pills, pure spirit fruits, and even martial arts secret collection. Looking at the master-grade pills, Su Luo touched her chin and didn't know how to react, because she could see at a glance that the pills was made by her. She didn't expect that it actually spread to the genius training camp. As for the pure spirit fruit, Su Luo accepted it very bluntly, and gave it to Little Spirit Fox and Little Sable. As for the secret collection of martial arts, Su Luo took it to have a look. It was for the cultivation of wind element. Su Luo couldn't use it for herself, so she planned to take it back and sell it for points. But none of these things could be a substitute for one devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, that worth 200,000 points. Su Luo couldn't help sighing. It would be nice if we could run into the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai again. Unfortunately, this kind of thief magical beast is very cowardice. I'm afraid that after this time, he will find a place to hide. It would be difficult to find it again. After hearing Su Luo's words, Big Sister Wei thought of her seven-tailed little divine deer, and her mood suddenly fell. The depressed Big Sister Wei needed to vent, so she glared at Seventh Brother Hua. Seventh Brother Hua suddenly had a very bad feeling. Sure enough, Big Sister Wei approached him step by step. Her steps were very large and very steady, making a dull sound like a mountain coming down. You don't come here? Seventh Brother Hua turned around and wanted to run, but before he got up, a huge shadow of foot had charged there. Bang! There was an extremely loud noise. Su Luo was taken aback and looked around. She only saw a burst of dust rising, but Seventh Brother Hua was gone. Su Luo's eyes flashed a trace of doubt. The scum Seventh Brother Hua couldn't escape from Big Sister Wei's palm. Where did he go? Su Luo was driven by curiosity and approached. Then she saw the thing that was difficult to describe with words. Big Sister Wei actually stepped into the soil with Seventh Brother Hua. There was a human-shaped pit in the soil, which was 1 meter deep, and Seventh Brother Hua was in the shape of herringbone, facing the soil, plunged straight into it. Su Luo silently glanced at Big Sister Wei. The title of Big Sister Wei, the godly power-fighting maniac, was really not called in vain. It was unknown whether Seventh Brother Hua was dead or not. However, Su Luo was not so kind to probe his condition. If he died, all troubles are solved. If he didn't die, then he had a good luck. After this matter was over, Su Luo took Big Sister Wei to leave. But they didn't give up looking for the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. Little Sable was an expert in this matter. Chapter 2019. Pursued relentlessly too, the Little Sable's nose was very sensitive, and had a natural instinct to find a way. There was no need to worry about getting lost at all. Now it followed the smell of devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. Su Luo and the others followed along the way. But it didn't go so well. Because time had passed for a while, and this magical beast zone was full of traces of magical beasts. Therefore, the smell was mixed, and it was difficult to distinguish. But finding the approximate direction was not a problem. Along the way, they were not unimpeded. For example, now they were surrounded by a wave of monsters. This wave of poisonous eyes 8-legged purple spiders was now encircled Su Luo and the others. They were very big. Each one was the size of a person. Their eyes were emerald green as if they were poisonous, glowing with a faint green light. But their bodies were purple. They had a quite strange color combination, which gave people a strange feeling. Su Luo sensed that these poisonous eyes 8-legged purple spiders should have the strength of 5th level of commander rank. Now there are as many as 30 surrounding them. This situation was already very dangerous. Su Luo was going to fight her way out and rushed out with Big Sister Wei. Before she could give a hint to Big Sister Wei, the goddess of war had already rushed out and swung her mallet. Kill! The mallet was swung heavily. Bang 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 bang. The poisonous eyes 8-legged purple spiders continuously suffered the blows, but this mallet was not enough to make them die, just to making their body put on some colors, that's all. By this time, Big Sister Wei had already fallen into the sea of monsters, and was surrounded by them. Most of the poisonous eyes 8-legged purple spiders were attracted to her. After only a few glances, Su Luo knew that such impetuous way would not work. Although Big Sister Wei was 9 stars, but she was fighting without any help, but 2 fists were difficult to beat 4 legs. Moreover, at this time, these poisonous eyes 8-legged purple spiders were united, constantly releasing silk to the ground. The threads were purple. Each of them had a cold luster. At one glance, it was highly poisonous. When they spit out enough poison, they would surround her. Then the foolish Big Sister Wei would be done for. Seeing this, Su Luo sneered. Wanted to surround Big Sister Wei? How could it be so easy? Su Luo's figure flashed very quickly. She jumped into Big Sister Wei's encirclement. At this time, the poisonous eyes 8-legged purple spiders were continuously attacking Su Luo. However, at this time Su Luo released her trump card, the space gravity. Within 100 square meters of the space gravity, All the strength of the poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spiders, all decreased in an instant. But Su Luo knew that because these poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spiders were stronger than her space gravity could not last long. She and Big Sister Wei must resolve it in the shortest time possible. So Su Luo shouted loudly to Big Sister Wei, "Just kill as fast as you can. Each time you kill one, you can have one more chicken leg." Tempting her with chicken legs was still very useful. Originally, Big Sister Wei was banging away here and there without any plan. She was only interested in fighting happily and killing in all directions, and she didn't care even if she only kill a few. But with the temptation of chicken legs, Big Sister Wei suddenly became excited and full of energy, and then she shouted loudly, "Kill!" Then she specifically smashed these poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spiders on the head. One look at the head, then directly smash it, and so on. Chapter 2020. Pursued relentlessly. 3. Big Sister Wei went from east to west. She was smashing again and again. For the sake of many drumsticks, Big Sister Wei was not playing this time. Her strength of smashing was very great. And there were a confusion in Big Sister Wei's eyes. She thought it was strange. How could these spiders become much slower? But no matter, just smash it first. In Big Sister Wei's eyes, every poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spiders was a delicious greasy chicken leg. At the same time, Su Luo also released all her little helpers in her space gravity. How could such a good opportunity to train be missed? This time, they still took action in a group as before. The variant acacia tree suddenly rushed up. Its golden vine encircled a poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spider. And then the little sable used Su Luo's dagger to cut the poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spider's head. With a crash, the head fell to the ground, and one poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spiders was killed. As for the nine-tailed little fox, it was not idle. When the variant acacia tree and the little sable were cooperating, the nine-tailed little fox was guarding on the side. If another poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spiders attacked, it would lead the other party's hatred away. After the variant acacia tree and the little sable finished killing the poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spider, the nine-tailed little fox would come back with the poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spider's full hatred. Then the variant acacia tree would encircle the poor poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spiders with its golden vine, and let the little sable quickly harvest its head. The cycle continues this way. If they could continuously fight like this, the winning side would undoubtedly be Su Luo. However, the poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spiders had a leader. Their leader's strength was much higher. But now this cowardly leader who was afraid of death was lurking in the masses. Even Su Luo was not able to recognize which one was the king. At this moment, the king saw that the situation was not good, and it ran without turning around, but kept ordering to quickly set the webs. As long as the web was done, these hateful human beings could be killed. It obviously abandoning the ones who were inside, and used them as cannon fodder to delay time. Then purple spider webs assembled at a rate visible to the naked eye. Looking at the purple spider web that was almost finished, and there were still 10 more purple spiders in the space gravity, Su Luo's eyebrows were slightly furrowed. Purple Spider King glanced at Su Luo with disdain. It was this glance that made Su Luo recognize its identity. It was an unchanging principle that it was necessary to capture the leader first in order to capture all his followers. So Su Luo suddenly flew towards the Purple Spider King. The Purple Spider King saw that it had been recognized, but it was not angry, because at this time, victory was already in its grasp and felt that it would undoubtedly win. Although it couldn't speak human language, it looked at Su Luo's eyes with a trace of pity. Pity? This miss doesn't need your pity. See who would be pitying whom in the end. Su Luo sneered a few times, and then Cheng Ying's sword rushed towards the Purple Spider King. The Purple Spider King's eyes glanced at Su Luo contemptuously, and then his eyes fell on the purple spider web, which had completed 90%. Su Luo knew where the disdain in its eyes and its confidence came from. It didn't think that the purple spider web could net her and the others, right? Want to catch us? Then, I'll let you see what is called a miracle. A trace of coldness flashed in Su Luo's eyes, and her voice was chilling to the bones. Chapter 2021. Pursued relentlessly for, Su Luo waved her hand. At this moment, an orange flame quickly appeared on her fair and jade-like palms. These flame was as if it was alive, dancing and jumping lively on Su Luo's palm. Little red lotus, go have fun. Su Luo slowly said with a smile. At this moment, the bright flame reflected the smile on Su Luo's face. She smiled so sweetly and confidently. The slight smile on her face, confident like a perfect goddess. It was so dazzling and so breathtaking. It seemed that time stopped at this moment. Seeing this orange-red flame, slowly flying toward the purple spider web that was about to be completed. The Spider King's mouth raised a disdainful sneer. A small flame wanted to burn its purple spider web? If its purple spider web was so easy to burn, how could it run wild in this area? This was what the purple Spider King thought, and so did its subordinates, so the sneers was the same. However, soon, their sneers froze in the corners of their mouths. Because the orange-red flame was touching the purple spider web. And then only a loud noise was heard. Originally, they thought the flame would be extinguished, but unexpectedly, this cluster of flame was so strange that it ignited the purple spider web. Then it quickly spread like a wildfire. The speed was amazing. How is that possible? How could this happen? What exactly happened? A big question mark appeared in the purple Spider King's mind, but no one could answer it. Just when it was standing like a dumb goose, staring blankly, in disbelief, Big Sister Wei just happened to pass beside him while chasing a poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spider. This is also a hateful spider, but it seems stupid. I don't know if Su Luo will change this for a chicken leg. Forget it, smash it first. Even if I can't get a big chicken leg, there will always be wings. Big Sister Wei glanced at the Spider King with disgust, and when she passed by, she hit it with the big mallet. Poor purple Spider King. Its attention was all on the burning purple spider web at this time. How could it notice the Big Sister Wei who was passing by quietly? So the forehead of the purple Spider King was smashed to bits in such incredible way. As dead as it could be. Su Luo turned her head, and saw the scene of the purple Spider King's forehead being smashed. Then she looked up, and saw that Big Sister Wei glanced at purple Spider King with disgust, turned her head and continued to chase the poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spider that she chased before. She didn't seem to realize that she just killed the leader of these poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spiders. Su Luo. Su Luo felt that since the appearance of Big Sister Wei, the honorary title of the illegitimate daughter of the goddess of luck should be replaced. So silly people had silly good fortune. Big Sister Wei's luck was super high. The purple spider web was burned, the purple Spider King was killed, so the remaining 7 or 8 poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spiders became a frantic crowd. They subconsciously wanted to run. But Su Luo won't let them run even if they wanted to. In Su Luo's eyes, they were all points that could be used as money. In Big Sister Wei's eyes, they were big greasy chicken legs. In the eyes of the little sable and little fox, they were the targets to learn through experience. So, how could they let them run away? At this time, Su Luo retracted the space gravity, so that the few little guys could properly learn through experience. Chapter 2022. Pursued Relentlessly 5. After the space gravity was retracted, the little sable and the others suddenly felt that their pressure had doubled, and it was impossible to strangle the poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spiders as easily as before. But this was also good. It gave them the opportunity to improve themselves. Seeing that they were locked in a fight, Su Luo leisurely took out her diamond token that multiplied points by 5, and slowly collected the points from the poisonous eyes eight-legged purple spiders on the ground. But when she collected the purple Spider King, Su Luo was a little surprised. It was unknown whether it was because the purple Spider King was the leader, but it had 100 points. That is to say, it was 500 points if it was multiplied by 5, which was quite a lot. At this moment, Big Sister Wei suddenly stood up. Su Luo had a bad premonition. Sure enough, Big Sister Wei looked left and right. Finally, she chose the left direction and rushed up with the big mallet. Before Su Luo could stop her, she had already left in big strides. Su Luo held her forehead silently. This Big Sister Wei was indeed the best thug. but at the same time also the most unreliable thug, because her actions could be unpredictable at any time. Just like now. God knows what would happen to her? After Su Luo swiftly cleaned up the remaining poisonous eyes, 8-legged purple spiders, Big Sister Wei has already run far away. However, because little Sable remembered the smell of Big Sister Wei, she was not afraid that she would lose Big Sister Wei. Su Luo asked the little Sable, "Is the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai nearby? Otherwise, Big Sister Wei would not run so fast." Little Sable's answer was as Su Luo expected. "The smell is very weak. It is indeed nearby, but there are other strong smell." The information revealed by the little Sable slightly surprised Su Luo. There are other strong smell around the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai? It's done for. The foolish big sister would certainly be in conflict with others. Fearing that the big sister would suffer losses, Su Luo waved her hand and took all the little spirit pets into her space, leaving only the little Sable to lead the way to find Big Sister Wei. Although Big Sister Wei was stupid, she had a good intuition. She was hellbent on getting the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. It was this persistence that made her have a different intuition than ordinary people. She was not sure that the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai was ahead. She just believed so in her heart, and then rushed up no matter what. It was unknown if it was right to say that silly person had silly good fortune. Big Sister Wei's intuition was actually really accurate. She rushed to the forest and walked around the maple forest. Sure enough, she saw that hateful devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. It's just that the situation was a bit complicated. Because there's a circle of people around the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, led by a young man in brocade clothes, but his face was delicate and gloomy, giving a kind of soft feeling. When Big Sister Wei saw the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, she didn't think about it. She just rushed up with the mallet and smashed the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. Seeing such an unstoppable crazy woman suddenly rushing down from the top of the mountain, the young man in the brocade clothes was stunned at first and then frowned tightly. Previously, 2 young men were attacking the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, which was originally evenly matched. But with the brute force of Big Sister Wei, the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai was almost unable to bear it anymore. Afterwards, the young man cast meaningful glances. Then his 2 subordinates quietly retreated. It was important to know that the most powerful attack of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai was the first 2 words, devil eyes. Chapter 2023. Pursued Relentlessly 6. The devil eyes of green poisonous Taotai did not usually explode, but in the face of a real life and death crisis, their devil eyes would explode. Once the devil eyes explode, it meant to die together, and the consequences would be very serious. The young man in brocade clothes knew this secret, but it did not mean that everyone else knows it. At least our Big Sister Wei did not know it. At this time, after those 2 people retreated, Big Sister Wei became more and more frustrated and incomparably bold. At this time, the young man in brocade clothes folded his hands and looked at the Big Sister Wei, who was working hard for them with interest. At the same time, he also took his men to retreat again, and retreated to a safe distance of 100 feet. At this time, Big Sister Wei madly beat the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, and had reached the intense stage. But the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai didn't know if it was because it felt guilty for stealing Big Sister Wei's 7-tailed little divine deer. In a word, it hadn't released its devil eyes. The face of the young man in brocade clothes gradually turned gloomy. This is not going to work. If she did not thoroughly infuriate the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, and force it to release the devil eyes, then the quality of its internal pellet would not be the best. If the quality was not the best, then its efficacy would be greatly reduced. The young man in brocade clothes touched his chin and began to think how to make the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai angry. Suddenly, the eyes of the young man in brocade clothes brightened, his palm spread out, and suddenly there was a black stuff in his palm. Spirit Pinball. The commander rank Spirit Pinball was extremely powerful. The young man in brocade clothes looked at the 2 people fighting in front of him, and there was a sneer emerged from the bottom of his eyes. This crazy woman came at the right time. He could test the power of this Spirit Pinball. The young man in brocade clothes pulled the switch and quietly threw the Spirit Pinball on the ground. At this time, Big Sister Wei and the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai who was locked in a fight did not pay attention, so they did not find out. The spirit pinball rolled silently under Big Sister Wei's feet. Big Sister Wei nearly tripped over. "What's this stuff that's so obstructing?" Big Sister Wei roared angrily. Soon after, her foot ferociously kicked back the spirit pinball that made her nearly fell down. You know, in order to make this precious spirit pinball blow up Big Sister Wei, the young man in brocade clothes deliberately modified the fuse to slow down the explosion. But who would have thought that Big Sister Wei would not look at this thing and kick it back? When the spirit pinball was kicked back, the young man in brocade clothes' face changed. "Dodge!" he shouted loudly and quickly leaped backwards. But his two men were not so lucky. The pinball exploded in mid-air. The explosion caused the space to vibrate violently. The whole world trembled. The shrapnel and the fire flew everywhere. There was no place for the two poor men to hide. Their heads and bodies were like a watermelon that had been blown up. They were drenched with blood and badly hurt. Seeing this opportunity, the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai wanted to run. But how brave was Big Sister Wei? She caught the tail of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai with her bare hands, and picked it up and threw it like a yo-yo. The devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai was very angry, but because of inertia, no matter how it struggled, it couldn't stop this humiliating action. At this time, the young man in brocade clothes was furious when he saw that his men were injured. He wanted to sit on the mountain to watch the tigers fight and then reap the spoils, but the crazy big sister in the battle had not been injured, but two of his subordinates were disposed of. How could he swallow this? Chapter 2024. Pursued relentlessly 7. It was necessary to force out the hatred of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, and must let the crazy woman bear the devil eyes. This was the plan of the young man in brocade clothes. So he quickly turned his mind, trying to come up with a way to satisfy both sides. Soon his eyes brightened again. One only saw his figure moved, quickly rushed up with a dagger. There was white light flashed, the tail of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai was immediately cut off. Big Sister Wei lost control of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. The devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai cried out in pain. Then another white light flashed, and the hind legs of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai were cut off suddenly. At this time, the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai was really angry. It faced upward and roared. Then it turned back. The originally black and white eyes now were just like poison, with faint green light, and looked very penetrating. The devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai thought that it was Big Sister Wei's evil scheme, so its hatred naturally locked on Big Sister Wei. "I only steal a piece of meat from you. Must you pursue me so hard?" The devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai roared in its heart. When she came into contact with the green eyes of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, she felt nothing at first, but after a while, she felt her forehead was swollen, her eyes were dark, and circles of stars were drifting slowly in her eyes. Big Sister Wei shook her head, and then shook her head again, but she still couldn't clear her head. At this moment, she was like drunk, and her steps were staggering and askew. At this moment, the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai made a sharp cry, then the figure as fast as lightning, fiercely rushed toward the Big Sister Wei. The sharp claws was going to hit Big Sister Wei's chest. This was the last attack of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. All its life, all its strength, all its anger, was concentrated on this move. This move, strong and solid, striking toward Big Sister Wei. If Big Sister Wei was hit, even if she didn't die, she would be seriously injured. But Big Sister Wei, who was staggering as if she was drunk, seemed to be born lucky. Just as this move came, her feet suddenly slipped forward, landed on the ground and sat down. Then the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai was full of grief and indignation. It actually brushed the top of Big Sister Wei's head and fly past. At this moment, Big Sister Wei felt that something was flying over her head. She easily lifted the only hind leg left of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, and then smacked it down. Bang dash, there was a loud sound. The poor devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai was like an arrow at the end of its flight. The devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai was smacked to death by Big Sister Wei in this way. Smacked to death. The young man in brocade clothes was stunned. His men were also stunned. Big Sister Wei herself was stunned. Because the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai was dead at this time, the enchantment naturally disappeared. Big Sister Wei, who was awake from the enchantment, looked at her right hand and found that she was carrying a fat hind leg. The mouth of the young man in brocade clothes slightly twitched. At this time, he finally understood what it means to be a man's scheme is not as good as heaven's will. In front of the lucky one, no matter how you calculate, you can't calculate heaven's blessing. This crazy woman was a lucky person. Sure enough, when God closed a door, would he open a window? The young man in brocade clothes sighed with emotion, but things still had to be done. He narrowed his eyes, walked slowly toward Big Sister Wei, and looked down. His tone was cold, but there was a trace of authority in his voice. Now hand over its body to me. Chapter 2025. Pursued relentlessly 8. No way. On this point, Big Sister Wei was unrelenting. Bring it here. The young man in brocade clothes' complexion started to change. No, Big Sister Wei strongly refused it. Luo hasn't seen it yet. Luo said that only after it was finished being swept, it counted as one chicken leg. But in Big Sister Wei's impression, it did not refer to whether her diamond token had already received points. Before, because Big Sister Wei often made the head of the prey smashed to bits, so Su Luo couldn't find the head even if she wanted to collect the points. Later, after punishing with a few chicken legs, Big Sister Wei remembered it very firmly. Naturally, the young man in brocade clothes didn't know that there was such a reason. When he saw that Big Sister Wei insisted on not giving it, his face became gloomy. Big Sister Wei was still sitting on the ground, looking at the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai blankly, and at this time, the young man in brocade clothes quietly came behind Big Sister Wei, the palm slowly grabbing toward the back of Big Sister Wei's neck. Poison palm, the target would be killed or injured. But at this time Big Sister Wei was at a loss. Just then, Big Sister Wei stood up with a swish all of a sudden, dragging the corpse of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, and ran forward excitedly, because she sensed that Su Luo was coming. But the poisoned hand of the young man in brocade clothes, which had been brewing for quite a while, seized an empty space, and helplessly watched as Big Sister Wei ran away. The young man in brocade clothes was simply speechless. Say this super strong woman is stupid? And yet she's not stupid, she always escapes at critical moment. Say this tough woman with stocky build is not stupid? But she's really stupid. How could Big Sister Wei think about the person behind her at this time? She dragged the body of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, and eagerly ran toward Su Luo, asking for credit with excitement. When Su Luo saw the devil-eyed green poisonous Taoyu's corpse, she was surprised. Unexpectedly, Big Sister Wei really caught it. Well done. Su Luo patted Big Sister Wei on the shoulder. After receiving praise from Su Luo, Big Sister Wei smiled happily, sweeter than honey. Other people's praise was useless. Su Luo's praise was very important to her, because it meant that she could have extra food again. Big Sister Wei cheered and silently looked at Su Luo, then silently looked at her stomach. Su Luo thought it was very funny, so she said with a smile, "How about I take out the inner pellet and then make this devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai for you to eat?" The devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai had tasted all kinds of delicious food in the world. The meat was especially tender, and tasted much better than chicken leg. When Big Sister Wei heard that it was more delicious than a big chicken leg, the corner of her mouth immediately drooled. Su Luo smiled, then took out the diamond token to collect the points, and then planned to dig out the inner pellet of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. But while doing it, Su Luo was in trouble. The young man in brocade clothes walked toward Su Luo coldly, raised his mouth condescendingly and sneered. Su Luo glances at the young man in brocade clothes unhappily. The first impression she had of him was that he was gloomy and malicious. Therefore she did not feel good about him, tried not to contact with him if she could. Since there's such a trouble, it was impossible to dissect it for the pellet on the spot. Su Luo just wanted to take away the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai, and then took Big Sister Wei away. But she was stopped before she passed him. "You can go, but this devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai has to be left behind." The voice of the young man in brocade clothes was too overbearing. Chapter 2026. Pursued Relentlessly 9. Su Luo turned around and asked Big Sister Wei, "Who killed this prey?" Big Sister Wei patted her chest and said, "Me." This was related about eating. Big Sister Wei's attitude was very serious. Su Luo glanced at the young man in brocade clothes with a faint smile. "Did you hear that?" The young man in brocade clothes slightly raised his lips. His eyes were full of gloom. "You can ask the crazy woman who found the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai first." Su Luo looked at him with a smile. "I don't need to ask, because I know that Big Sister Wei is the one who found the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai first." "Nonsense." The eyes of the young man in brocade clothes were gloomy. "It's not nonsense." Su Luo looked at him with a smile on her face. "Maybe here, you are the one who meet the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai first. But before that, we have already fought with the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. Don't you see it was covered with bruises and swelling? It's because it was smashed with Big Sister Wei's mallet. Don't tell me your poison hand can also make such effect." After Su Luo said that, there was a chill in the eyes of the young man in brocade clothes. In fact, he also thought that the crazy woman had rushed up and smashed without saying anything further. She must have had an animosity with the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. But so what? The young man in brocade clothes' lips hooked up. Su Luo suddenly smiled. "So, do you want to use violence? It's not impossible." The young man in brocade clothes thought that this was a good suggestion. Su Luo sneered, and then said innocently to Big Sister Wei, "If this prey is taken away, you will have no food, no braised dish, no steamed dish, no stewed dish, all gone." Oh. Big Sister Wei, and thought that this is going too far. Anything she could do without, but she cannot do without food. The foodie Big Sister Wei frowned coldly and said to the young man in brocade clothes, "Do you want to die standing or sitting?" Big Sister Wei could still bluff people when she took out the female boss manner. The young man in brocade clothes did not speak. His two subordinates had already come forward and attacked Big Sister Wei without saying a word. When Big Sister Wei saw that the two young people whose heads were like watermelons dared to seek death, she would not be polite. So Big Sister Wei and the two men fought. The young man in brocade clothes came to snatch the prey in Su Luo's hands. Su Luo didn't pay attention to it for a while, and the leg of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai was pulled. "Let go!" Su Luo shouted angrily. It was very troublesome to take out the internal pellet of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. It needed to be done very carefully. If the corpse was damaged now, the fragile internal pellet may break. The effect of broken internal pellet would be greatly reduced. Su Luo was very unwilling for such unexpected loss to happen. But the young man in brocade clothes still firmly held the hind leg, and he had no intention to let go. At the same time, he sneered and threatened Su Luo. "Put the body down, otherwise I could accidentally cause the body to break, and then you and I will not get it." "You really won't let go?" Su Luo frowned. "You put it down first." The young man in brocade clothes didn't look like he wanted to talk it over. He really would not to stop until he reached the Yellow River. Su Luo secretly scolded in her heart. Then she called the Yun Luo Red Lotus. "Good child, go play with that big brother for a while." The young man in brocade clothes didn't know who Su Luo was talking to. Then he saw a cluster of orange fire quickly floated towards his forehead. The orange fire seemed to be intelligent, floating above his head, as if it wanted to build a nest there. Chapter 2027. Pursued Relentlessly 10. The young man in brocade clothes originally thought that Su Luo was not as powerful as himself, so he didn't take her seriously. So regarding that cluster of fire, naturally he looked down on it. But when he really came in contact with the Yun Luo Red Lotus, he discovered how horrible this fire was. The cluster of fire, 1 turned into 2, 2 turned into 4, 4 turned into 8, seemed like it multiplies, became more and more. These fires also liked to surround him, floating around, and jumping to the hairy places on his body. The young man in brocade clothes was in panic for a while and in a sorry state. At this time Su Luo looked down, but her brows were slightly frowned. This man. Just now, when the young man in brocade clothes pulled the devil-eyed green poisonous tautai from her, the inner core of the prey was shattered. This discovery suddenly made Su Luo's mood fall to the bottom. She did not know whether the internal pellet was still intact at this time. Damn guy. If you can't obtain it for yourself, you won't let others obtain it. What kind of mentality is this? Su Luo glared fiercely at the young man in brocade clothes. And then she was determined to immediately begin to dig up the internal pellet. Su Luo took out a dagger from her space, and then laid the body of the devil-eyed green poisonous tautai on the ground, half squatted, and slowly ran the dagger across its head. The dagger was extremely sharp. Wherever it passed, the flesh of the devil-eyed green poisonous tautai was cut as if it was mud by Su Luo. But later, Su Luo became more cautious, afraid of breaking the fragile pellet. At this moment, Big Sister Wei had already ended the fight. The Yin Luo Red Lotus had also returned to sleep in the space due to the lack of spirit power. After the young man in brocade clothes lost his opponent, he rushed to Su Luo and began to talk. Little girl, the internal pellet is shattered. Even if it's cut out, it's useless. The young man in brocade clothes sneered again and again, rejoiced in others' misfortune. Su Luo wasn't distracted. How about I buy it from you with 200,000 points? After the young man in brocade clothes saw the power of the Yin Luo Red Lotus, he didn't underestimate Su Luo anymore. Although the fire lasted for a short time, it gave him great shock, so he didn't make a move. 200,000 points for a broken internal pellet is a good deal. Why are you still hesitating? The young man in brocade clothes was unhappy because Su Luo didn't appreciate his kindness. This time they entered the magical beast zone. Their only goal was the internal pellet of the devil-eyed green poisonous tautai. It could be said that the internal pellet was very important to him. Su Luo glanced at him coldly. Don't be noisy. If you disturb me to collect this internal pellet, you will be in trouble. The young man in brocade clothes gritted his teeth. Girl, what would take for you to give up this inner pellet? This internal pellet, he's determined to get it. Of course, he didn't break it before, but deliberately pretended to. He wanted Su Luo to think that the internal pellet was broken and then passed it to him. But unfortunately, Su Luo didn't do that. Su Luo didn't look at the young man in brocade clothes, but told Big Sister Wei. He's too noisy, take him out. Big Sister Wei deserves to be called the best thug. She didn't say a word, but directly followed Su Luo's orders and tried to take young man in brocade clothes out. The young man in brocade clothes were unhappy, but he had a plan in mind. Now Su Luo was busy cutting the internal pellet and can't make a move. It's better to wait for him to settle this stupid big sister, and then the loathsome girl. Therefore, the young man in brocade clothes sneered and directly attacked the foolish big sister. Chapter 2028. Unexpected Surprise 1. These two people both were 9-star of commander rank. They were equal in strength, so it was difficult to determine the winner. However, maybe it's because all the way had been going smoothly for Big Sister Wei. Now she was finally out of luck. One only saw the face of the young man in brocade clothes was getting redder and redder, and finally, a lightning from the clear sky struck his body all of a sudden. Su Luo raised her head subconsciously, frowned deeply. Did this young man in brocade clothes snatch away Big Sister Wei's luck? When he fought with Big Sister Wei, he was promoted to Saint rank. Although it was 1 star of the Saint rank, but there's enough strength to suppress Big Sister Wei. One was 9-star of commander rank, the other was 1 star of Saint rank. Previously, they were evenly matched, but now the outcome of the battle was quickly determined. Boom dash, a thunder-like fist smashed and Big Sister Wei was immediately smashed flying, flew backward in a parabola. Bang bang dash, Big Sister Wei smashed a dozen red maple trees in a row, and finally hung upside down on the ancient tree, coughing incessantly. She casually wiped the corners of her mouth, and found bright red blood on the palm of her hand. Big Sister Wei groaned and struggled to get up. At this time, the excitement in the eyes of the young man in brocade clothes was also shown in his words. Ha 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 ha. He opened his hands, face upwards, and laughed heatily. His laughter was unrestrained, almost able to penetrate the whole maple forest. Me Lu Fongming finally promoted to the Saint rank, ha ha ha. 5 years It has troubled me for 5 years. I didn't expect that I would break through like this. Good. Lu Fangming was almost mad with joy. Su Luo's face was a little bad at this time. Saint rank, it would be very difficult for her to deal with it, unless she used all her cards. But now in her hands, she was dealing with the internal pellet of the devil-eyed green poisonous Taotai. This internal pellet had been moved by Lu Fangming, and she would break if she was not careful. She couldn't attend to other things at the same time. Su Luo couldn't help lamenting. It seemed that even God did not stand on her side. Actually let Lu Fangming get promoted, not Big Sister Wei. Otherwise, Big Sister Wei's strength could be greatly improved, and it would be more convenient to use in the future. Lu Fangming was ecstatic, but after that, he thought of the current situation. One only saw him turned around. His eyes were as cold as a viper, staring at Su Lu. He raised the corner of his mouth and his smile was gloomy and ghostly. Loathsome girl, quickly hand over the internal pellet so that you can leave with an intact corpse. An intact corpse? What a big tone. The corner of Su Luo's mouth slightly curved with disdain. At that time, the variant 10-winged angel die in her hand. Now that Lu Fangming was only 1 star of saint rank, why was he so proud? Seeing Su Luo's disdainful sneer, Lu Fangming immediately sneered. It seems that you won't shed tears until you see the coffin? Good, very good. Then there's no need to say more. Lu Fangming clearly showed that he wanted to snatch it. But now Su Luo can't be distracted even a little bit. What to do? Big Sister Wei covered her chest with pain and limped toward Su Luo, subconsciously blocking it for her, and stared angrily at Lu Fangming. Even Big Sister Wei herself didn't know clearly why she wanted to block it and stand in front of Su Luo. She only knew that she should. Su Luo smiled, took a purple porcelain bottle from her space, slowly poured out a purple pill in the palm of her hand, and called to Big Sister Wei. Take this pill. Chapter 2029, Unexpected Surprise 2. The biggest advantage of Big Sister Wei was obeying orders. Su Luo asked her to take the medicine. She didn't even groan. She didn't have a questioning look. She grabbed the pill, raised her head and directly swallowed it. Lu Fangming looked at Big Sister Wei suspiciously. Although he didn't understand what Su Luo did, he was extremely confident now. Naturally, he didn't believe that Big Sister Wei will be stronger than him after swallowing a pill. Soon after Big Sister Wei took the purple pill, she felt hot all over her body. The energy flowing to her dantian was stronger and stronger. The whole person seemed to expand, and her strength soared in an instant. Big Sister Wei's eyes immediately glowed with excitement. The feeling of great power is really great. She really wants to try her strength now. Big Sister Wei's eyes fell on Lu Fangming. There was a deep smile on her face. Lu Fangming's heart trembled when he met Big Sister Wei's deep look. However, before he could get back to his senses, the fierce Big Sister Wei had swung her mallet and rushed up. The speed was faster than lightning. Lu Fangming looked at Big Sister Wei, who took the initiative to launch the attack, and a disdainful sneer flashed in his eyes. How dare a small 9-star take the initiative to attack him? Really courting death. Lu Fangming was very arrogant, and waited for Big Sister Wei to reach 30 meters in front of him before slowly condensing his spirit power. However, bang! Who would have imagined that Big Sister Wei's speed suddenly soared? Lu Fangming only felt that a thick shadow came in front of him. Before he could look up, his head had been hit heavily with a big mallet. There was a sharp and clear sound. Lu Fangming only felt that his head was dizzy, his eyes were mosquito coil, and he shouted furiously in his mind. Why was the speed of this crazy woman suddenly soared so fast? Suddenly became so powerful? It's as if she was the one who had been promoted to the saint rank, not him. This discovery made Lu Fangming feel unreconciled in the bottom of his heart. At the same time, also raised a chill. Big Sister Wei grabbed the opportunity and seriously injured Lu Fangming. But after all, Lu Fangming was saint-ranked, and his fighting strength was still very strong. For a while the two people began to fight. The battle was inextricable. Fighting. After a half hour, Big Sister Wei's speed slowed down. There was a glimmer of excitement flashed through Lu Fangming's heart. At this time he had guessed right. Just now, this crazy woman must have taken vigor pill. which was a very precious type. Now that the time was up, so she had recovered her original strength. Humph. No strength is no strength. It won't matter to continue taking pill. Lu Fangming was confident as if victory was already within his grasp. This kind of pill is so precious. How could there be many? Big Sister Wei was beaten back step by step. Her eyes continuously looked at Su Luo. Seeing this, Lu Fangming became even more proud and aggressive. Now accept my attack. Before his voice fell, he began to condense his spirit powers. Su Luo glanced at him unhappily. Although she didn't have many Emperor-grade vigor pills, but there were still a few. She was not good at strength, so even if she eats it, it wouldn't be very useful, so all along she kept it for nothing. Su Luo simply threw the whole purple bottle to Big Sister Wei and said, "Eat it as you want." Big Sister Wei looked at the purple porcelain bottle and smiled happily, because she knew that after she took the pill, her power suddenly became very great. Lu Fangming, who was on the opposite side, looked at the bottle. His face suddenly became very ugly. Chapter 2030. Unexpected Surprise 3. Su Luo smiled and said, "There's only 5 or 6, not many, but it's enough to defeat you." 5 or 6. Emperor-grade vigor pill. 5 or 6. Both of Lu Fangming's feet were shaking and could hardly stand. He shouted at Su Luo, "Do you know how precious Emperor-grade pills is? How can you take the whole bottle out?" Su Luo's innocent face was at a loss. She shrugged. "I take my pills, what does it has to do with you?" There's a pain in Lu Fangming's heart. What kind of ancestor did he offend today? He had to send people to rush to buy master-grade pills, but she took out a whole bottle of Emperor-grade pills to her subordinate to eat and indifferent about it. Isn't that too big of a difference? At this moment, Lu Fangming felt fear in his heart. Because how terrible is an apothecary who could make Emperor-grade pills? Seeing that Big Sister Wei was about to make a move again, Lu Fangming jumped out and yelled, "Stop, stop." But Big Sister Wei was swallowing an Emperor-grade pill at this time. And if she stopped like this, how could she vent with brute force? So despite Lu Fangming's anxious yell for a truce, Big Sister Wei didn't let go of her plan, and smashed him on the head with the mallet. So this amusing and funny scene happened here. So he took Big Sister Wei to ran around and around, and at the end, Big Sister Wei was tired and gasping for breath. Lu Fangming ran very fast at the front, turned back to signal a truce as he ran, but Big Sister Wei turned a deaf ear to him, like an eagle catching a chicken. Su Luo looked up and saw the scene. She shook her head in amusement and let them be. Lu Fangming also knew that Big Sister Wei needed to let off her strength, otherwise she would definitely suffocate. So he took Big Sister Wei to go around in circles. At the end of the run, she was very tired and panting. Of course, Lu Fangming was not much better. Standing 10 meters in front of Big Sister Wei, he turned around, bent over, put his hands on his knees, inhaled heavily, and his face was sweaty. "Big Sister, I say Big Sister, have you finished chasing?" Lu Fangming wiped the sweat on his forehead. Sister Wei put out her tongue and gasped for breath. Although she had no strength, she still managed to hold the mallet and pointed to Lu Fangming. "Stop, you young man, stop for this old lady." Big Sister Wei staggered forward. Lu Fangming moved forward a few more steps with difficulty. Now the strength of both of them had reached the limit. Perhaps a 3-year-old child could knock them down with one finger. Lu Fangming repeatedly waved her hand towards Big Sister Wei, and looked mournful. "Big Sister, please don't chase me. Can I admit defeat? Isn't it just internal pellet worth 200,000 points? Can't he just give it up?" But people who took Emperor-grade pills like a jelly bean was truly a local tyrant. How could he dare to offend? There's a saying in Lu Fangming's motto that a wise man submits to circumstances, and he was understood the current situation very well. When Big Sister Wei saw the other party begging for mercy, she was very serious and looked displeased. She insisted, "I haven't hit you yet, no." Big Sister Wei remembered deeply that she was kicked to the top of the tree. Who said that the fool doesn't hold a grudge? In fact, the fool is the most vengeful. Lu Fangming was about to cry. He knew that if he didn't get kicked by the other side today, this stupid Big Sister won't give up. As for the girl who bowed her head, She only cared about cutting the internal pellet. Chapter 2031. Unexpected Surprise 4. Although the girl looked like she was out of the way, she was very protective of this stupid big sister. Don't you see these person use emperor-grade pills as sugar beans? Such generosity. In his memory she was first person. Therefore, Lu Fangming decided that a wise man submits to circumstances. So he simply walked toward Big Sister Wei, with a flattering attitude. Big sister, you kick. How could Big Sister Wei be polite to him? Just quickly kick him in his stomach. Buta? Eh? Poor Big Sister Wei. Why don't you see? Under your other foot was a rotten tree stump. In short, poor Sister Wei kicked Lu Fangming with one foot, and another foot stepped on the rotten tree stump. And then a gravity, her butt fell down hard. Then, instead of kicking Lu Fangming a meter away, Big Sister Wei fell and sat in the hole she had smashed herself. Her feet were facing the sky. She could not climb out for a long time. Lu Fangming was shocked first, then surprised, and finally covered his stomach, burst into laughter. Ha 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 ha. Heavens it's killing him. How could he laugh until break his stomach? Su Luo looked at Big Sister Wei like this, silently looked up at the sky, and silently lowered her head to cut internal pellet. She didn't see anything. She really didn't see anything. Lu Fangming was kind enough to help pull Big Sister Wei out. Big Sister Wei was very kind. Since he helped her by pulling her out, she would not chase after him anymore. Besides, now even if she wanted to kill, she had no strength. At this time, Su Luo had finished cutting the internal pellet, and the cut internal pellet was intact and the efficacy was well preserved. Although Lu Fangming was envious, his skill was inferior to the other person. He just admitted defeat, cupped his hands to Su Luo, and then left. Su Luo was about to collect the inner pellet, but suddenly, she felt a killing intent, and her back instantly turned stiff. Su Luo suddenly looked back, only to find that there was nothing behind her. But just now the terrible feeling like she was on the verge on death was so real. It felt so real. Like she really walked through the gates of hell. Su Luo was on full alert at this moment, extremely vigilant. She threw a spirit restoration pill to Big Sister Wei. Let her quickly recover her strength, because she had a feeling that a fierce battle would come soon. Although Big Sister Wei's brain was lacking, her instinct for danger was the same as Su Luo. So, without saying a word, she quickly stuffed the pill, cross-legged and began to recover her strength. Time went by. Su Luo was holding the Chungying sword in her hand. She watched and listened in all directions. Her mind was on the highest alert. All of a sudden, a killing intent hit her back. Su Luo turned to avoid it, and then the Chungying sword in her hand suddenly stabbed toward the front left. Because Su Luo calculated the opponent's second step. Sure enough, the cold sword in the opponent's hand appeared on Su Luo's front left. Bang! The Chungying sword collided with the opponent's cold sword. The sparks was all over the place, making a loud crash. At the same time, Su Luo saw the opponent clearly. It was a man in black. His whole body was covered in black clothes, his face was covered with black scarf, and his head was covered with black hat. The whole person was tightly wrapped, without revealing any flesh. Who are you? Su Luo's voice was cold. It hadn't been long since she entered the genius training camp. She couldn't have offended anyone, right? Chapter 2032. Unexpected Surprise 5. The man in black clothes didn't answer Su Luo. His sword quickly flashed toward Su Luo's throat. Su Luo subconsciously stepped back. She lightly spun around with her toes and her body silently stepped toward the man's back. At close proximity, she suddenly thrusted her dagger towards the man's back. This black-clothed man exerted a large amount of pressure on Su Luo, and also reminded her of a familiar feeling. The opponent's strength was at least at first star of Saint rank, and his best ability was assassination. Every move was concisely aiming at her vital points. His only purpose was to kill her. Su Luo could conclude that this man was a real assassin, and the value of his existence was to kill people. It was certain that he was not a lone assassin, but a part of a whole organization. When did she offend such an organization without realizing it? Su Luo was slightly shocked, But she had no time to think about it now. The most important thing was to deal with this black-clothed man. In order to capture this man, Su Luo instantly used all her trump cards. Nothingness of space, the Chungying sword, Yun Luo red lotus. At this moment, Su Luo's strength instantly skyrocketed to the strength of saint rank. Because of this, Su Luo quickly gained the upper hand. And it only took a little time to capture the opponent. Suddenly, bam! In a flash, another black-clothed man jumped down from the treetop. This black-clothed man was thin, but his eyes flashed dangerously. Su Luo knew this man was stronger than the man she just fought with. The black-clothed man jumped down from the tree, but didn't come to kill Su Luo. He rushed toward Big Sister Wei. Su Luo was shocked and immediately cried out, "Big Sister Wei, watch out!" At this moment, Big Sister Wei, who was trying to heal her injuries, was startled by Su Luo's shout. She had no time to think about it. She then flew up and fought against the black-clothed man. Su Luo was very nervous. The people in black clothes were obviously organized. No one knew how many came. As time passed, Su Luo realized that their situation would get worse. Su Luo looked at the black-robed man in front of her. Murderous intent flashed in her eyes. Suddenly, Su Luo released her full strength. The black-clothed man, who was fighting her, instantly felt the pressure had doubled as if the girl had become much stronger. He scolded himself inwardly in his heart. How could this girl's strength, which looked like a sesame seed, suddenly skyrocket? Su Luo sneered. Within 5 strokes, she found a flaw and slashed the Chungying sword across his neck. Blood flew out. The man in black clothes was dead. Su Luo didn't have much time to think about him, and hurried to Big Sister Wei's side to fight with her. The black-clothed man wanted to run as soon as he saw his comrade had died. However, Su Luo released the and enclosed the black-clothed man inside Big Sister Wei, and she then joined forces to subdue the man within 10 moves. However, before she could forcefully question the black-clothed man, he bit his tongue and killed himself. His movements were simple and neat, with no trace of hesitation. Looking at these 2 corpses on the ground, Su Luo's face had darkened. Big Sister Wei was aware that Su Luo was in a bad mood. She gave Su Luo a cowardly look, and then remained silent. Chapter 2033. Unexpected Surprise 6. Su Luo crouched down and pulled off the black cloth covering the man's face. It was an ordinary face. The facial features were so ordinary that they wouldn't be recognized in the crowd. However, even if the man was dead, his face features were still cold, showing that he really was a top assassin. Lifting the black cloth off another man's face, Su Luo still didn't recognize him. The most important thing now was to leave this place quickly. Oh! Su Luo suddenly saw a space storage bag, hanging on the black-clothed man's waist. The space storage bag was not large, only 1 cubic meter, but its price was extremely expensive. Su Luo didn't say anything, but confiscated the space bag. As for these 2 dead bodies, Su Luo thought for a while, and took out a white porcelain bottle from her space bag. She then poured out a yellow powder on the wound of the 2 bodies. Soon the powder reacted. SSSS. There was a sound of sulfuric acid corrosion. The blood on the wound of the corpse quickly reacted with the bright yellow powder, and the reaction was intense. The blood contaminated with the powder instantly turned into a sugar corrosive, and the 2 bodies decayed at a rate visible to the naked eye, leaving only a small pool of pale yellow liquid. "Let's go," Su Luo said to Big Sister Wei and quickly flew forward. Big Sister Wei obediently followed Su Luo. Shortly after they left, a faint figure appeared at the spot Su Luo originally stood. He released his consciousness and looked around, but found no one and frowned uncontrollably. He then saw the pool of yellow liquid on the ground. The man in black clothes squatted down, smelled it, and finally stretched out a finger touching the pale yellow liquid. He was about to taste it, but he found that his finger was almost corroded. He was taken aback and instantly cut his finger with his dagger. What a terrible corrosive liquid! The man solemnly looked at the yellow liquid, and his eyes fiercely flashed. He then sensed the breath in the air, locked on its direction, and chased forward. The direction of his pursuit was the direction Su Luo escaped to. Su Luo and Big Sister Wei ran for hundreds of kilometers before stopping. Su Luo sensed the air around her, not noticing the murderous aura of the black-clothed man. She quietly wiped off the cold sweat on her forehead. Who was the black-clothed man? Why did he want to kill her? Regarding this point, Su Luo was very puzzled. Forget it. Just wait for a chance to capture the leader and question him. At this moment, Su Luo finally had time to take a good look at the 2 space bags she had seized from the 2 dead, black-clothed men. Because the space bag was marked by the blood of its owner. As long as the owner had died, the space bag would automatically cancel the contract. Su Luo had a space bag for herself, so she did not need it anymore. She let Big Sister Wei drop her blood on the space bag. Seeing Su Luo approach her with a dazzling dagger, Big Sister Wei, who was afraid of pain, subconsciously stepped back. Su Luo angrily glanced at Big Sister Wei. Look at you, you wouldn't frown if you cut off a finger. But now it is only a small drop of blood. And you're afraid to do it? Hurry up and give me your hand. Big Sister Wei pursed her lips, angrily glared at Su Luo, and weakly extended out a finger. Su Luo's dagger gently sliced her fingertip as a bead of blood rolled out instantly, and fell on the black space bag. Big Sister Wei happily withdrew her hand. Seeing the small cut on her finger, to her it was just a tickle. Chapter 2034. Encountered Crisis. 1. A drop of blood rolled down and the black-clothed man's space bag opened. Big Sister Wei used her spiritual force to look in it, frowned, and then looked at Su Luo. What's in it? Su Luo asked Big Sister Wei with a smile. Big Sister Wei saw there was nothing to eat inside, so her eyebrows tightened. Big Sister Wei flipped the space bag, then shook it up and down. Crash. Clunk. Everything inside the bag rolled out one by one. Hard stone-shaped wheat cakes, cultivation books, and rare crystals. Seeing these ink-colored crystals, Su Luo's eyes flashed. She subconsciously crouched down, picked up the black crystals, and looked at them closely. She remembered that Nangong Luyan said that this black crystal was very useful for cultivating the law of darkness. Su Luo suspiciously rubbed these black crystals with her fingertips and fell into deep contemplation. Suddenly, Su Luo seemed to have thought of something and opened the other space bag with her own blood. Clunk. There were also a dozen of black crystals. Su Luo was stupefied. According to Su Luo's knowledge, the majority of people who cultivated the law of darkness were from the legendary Thorny organization. Those people they killed before, could it be? However, this place was clearly the Purgatory City. How could there be a person from that organization here? And even chased to kill her? Thinking of this organization, Su Luo's mind was filled with Nangong Luyan. She unconsciously spaced out and smiled. Big Sister Wei saw Su Luo carried the empty bag upside down and stood there motionlessly. She stretched out her 5 fingers and waved it in front of Su Luo. She seriously asked, "Are you mad?" Su Luo awakened from her fantasy, looked at Big Sister Wei and smiled. "Yeah, I'm mad. I even hope to see Nangong here right now. Aren't I out of my mind?" Nangong was in the East Sea. It was countless thousands of miles away from here. How could she see him? Big Sister Wei looked at Su Luo sympathetically. "You can rest assured, even if you're mad, you still look beautiful." Su Luo laughed out loud, shook her head, shoved her hope to the back of her mind, and asked Big Sister Wei, "Are you hungry?" Big Sister Wei covered her stomach and glared at Su Luo. "Yes." Su Luo smiled. It was rare to see a hungry Big Sister Wei to not vigorously awaken her in her trance before, so she had enjoyed a good daydream for a while. Su Luo had already prepared the lunch beforehand. Because danger was everywhere, Su Luo had prepared a lot of things beforehand. Anyway, the things that were put in the space bag wouldn't get damaged. When they were taken out of the bag, they were still hot. Su Luo released all the pets. Then she took out the lunch that was already prepared. Everyone sat around on the soft blanket and began to enjoy the food. At this moment, Su Luo suddenly had a very bad premonition. Big Sister Wei acted stupidly. She swallowed the whole barbecued meat, but Su Luo only ate a small chicken leg. After the meal, Su Luo quickly led everyone on the road. Before she could go far, she had to stop. At this time, there was a row of people waiting in front of her. This group of people, who were not dressed in black, gave Su Luo a very bad feeling. Eldest brother, it's her. A familiar voice rang out. Su Luo's eyes flickered. Although Su Luo only had seen this person once, she was still able to recognize him. He was seventh brother Hua, who got smacked into the mud by big sister Wei. Chapter 2035, Encountered Crisis 2. At this time, seventh brother Hua was complaining to someone. Eldest brother, it's them. They took away the gluttonous, poisonous, green-eyed devil. Seventh brother Hua loudly complained as he scorned big sister Wei at the same time. He had not seen it with his own eyes, but when he met Lu Fangming, he only heard a sentence from him and believed it. Lu Fangming did not expect that he would be able to avenge himself only by saying a single sentence. Eldest brother Hua was dressed in a blue robe, had a cold complexion, and a pair of domineering eyes. At this time, eldest brother Hua was staring at Su Luo with a pair of cold eyes and said, "Give us the inner core and we will let you guys live." Su Luo sneered. "Are you guys stealing in broad daylight?" "Stealing? That's the wrong word. Why don't you try saying, robbing and killing you?" A figure wearing a white robe standing behind eldest brother Hua came out and sneered. This person was Qingyi. Su Luo clearly remembered that Qingyi and Lu Yi had tried to shame Ziyan after the genius training camp assessment. Because of Luo Yichun, this person had run away. She didn't expect to encounter her here. Enemies really do meet on a narrow road. Qingyi was a disciple of the third elder, so she shared the same hatred toward Su Luo. When Su Luo saw her, Su Luo knew that she was really in danger. After secretly saying a few words in eldest brother Hua's ear, Qingyi descended to the ground, arrogantly lifted her chin and glanced at Su Luo. Eldest brother Hua's original cold and proud eyes slightly changed, and when he looked at Su Luo again, his anger shot up even more. Eldest brother Hua sneered. "You dare to oppose the third elder and even angered the serene fairy? If I had not met you, then it's fine, but little girl, you are out of luck today." Su Luo felt anxious in her heart. Based on the analysis of their strength, elder brother Hua was at saint rank and much stronger than her. Even if she and big sister Wei attacked together, they wouldn't be able to defeat him. In addition, Qingyi was also here. Seventh brother Hua proudly glanced at big sister Wei, and Qingyi sneered at Su Luo repeatedly. At the same time, they silently changed positions and surrounded Su Luo and big sister Wei so that they could not flee. Qingyi coldly sneered at Su Luo. "Next year, this date will be your death anniversary, Su Luo. You can't run away this time." There is a saying that goes, "Heaven has a road, but no one travels it. Hell has no gate, but men will dig to get there." Eldest brother Hua flexed his muscles and wildly waved while shouting, "No one will know if we kill you in this magical beast region. Come on, let's kill them." However, before eldest brother Hua's last words even rang out, Su Luo had already signaled big sister Wei to fight. Big sister Wei's body just moved slightly, but Qingyi had already flown to her. Big sister Wei and Qingyi were almost equal in strength, so the battle was unpredictable. Su Luo did not hesitate and rushed toward eldest brother Hua. Because she knew that if she wanted to get out of here, it all depended on eldest brother Hua, as his strength was the key to this battle. Boom! As soon as Su Luo and eldest brother Hua's palms collided, Su Luo felt an indescribable wave of power sweeping her, knocking her entire body back. She flew over a dozen feet before falling to the ground. As soon as Su Luo's feet fell to the ground, she felt an urge to vomit blood rising from her chest. No way. It was just one move, but it made her almost vomit blood. If she vomited the blood, it would be bad for their morale. Therefore, Su Luo tried to swallow the blood back in. Chapter 2036. Encountered Crisis 3. At that moment, eldest brother Hua had flown towards Su Luo. A fireball was condensed in his hand, and he immediately launched it towards Su Luo, surrounding her with a pillar of fire. What a fierceful fire! Su Luo felt like her body was being roasted by the fire. Her skin and muscles dried up. It felt like her whole body was being burned. He was really a saint rank. Although the flame wasn't like the little red lotus, it was a kind of strange fire called jialong. This flame was fierce and unstoppable. Even if Su Luo's original element was fire, her body would still be burned into ash within a minute. Fortunately, Su Luo had the Yun Luo Red Lotus body. Furthermore, Little Red Lotus just awakened at the most critical moment. After swallowing the fire crystal, it immediately developed from infancy to early childhood, and its strength greatly increased. Therefore, it blocked the fireball attack from the eldest brother Hua. Your fire is the Yun Luo Red Lotus? Eldest brother Hua was shocked when he saw an orange-red flame tightly guarding Su Luo. There were few artifacts that could extinguish his pillar of fire within a few seconds. Su Luo coldly snorted, and enclosed eldest brother Hua in the nothingness of space. The Chungying sword spun around and stabbed from behind him. Fast. Very fast. In just an instant, Su Luo used 49 moves. You could see the sword quickly flashing in the midst of Su Luo's afterimages. Because Su Luo knew the difference in strength between herself and eldest brother Hua was too great, and she had to take advantage of this fleeting chance. Only at this moment, eldest brother Hua was thoroughly shocked. She could have the chance to defeat him. However, due to the large gap in strength, the effect of the nothingness of space on eldest brother Hua was negligible. When the Chungying sword stabbed him from behind, eldest brother Hua quickly spun around and shot out an imprint. With a loud clatter, Chungying's sword was swept down to the ground. Eldest brother Hua sneered. Your strength is bad, but all of your treasures are fantastic. It's really a shame for you to have them. The Chungying sword, the Little Red Lotus, the nothingness of space. Each and every one almost made eldest brother Hua crazy. As long as he could use these treasures, he could then skip a big step in the next ranking of dragon list. At this point, eldest brother Hua's determination to kill Su Luo had intensified. Because all of these treasures had already recognized Su Luo as their master. Only by killing her could he then take these treasures for his own use. As for whether these treasures would agree, for a strong master, how could they not agree? At this point, eldest brother Hua looked at Su Luo full of greed and determination to win. He decided to kill Su Luo to grab those treasures at all costs. Before, eldest brother Hua only used 70% of his strength, but now he intentionally used all of his strength. Boom! The golden fist smashed into Su Luo's abdomen. Su Luo's was knocked backwards again and landed heavily on the ground. This fist was the most powerful attack Su Luo had ever encountered. Even the Jade Lake's fairy's attack was not as serious as this one. At this moment, Su Luo was smashed into a huge pit behind her and unable to move. It hurt. The pain almost made her faint instantly. Su Luo felt that almost all of her internal organs had shifted and several ribs must have been broken. Her painful tears came out when she took a breath. Eldest brother Hua greedily sneered, and he walked slowly towards Su Luo, step by step. Chapter 2037. Encountered Crisis 4. At this time, Su Luo was like a little ant in his hand and victory was within his grasp. Su Luo's eyes narrowed. She could feel the death approaching her. Right then, Su Luo gritted her teeth and lit up the communication amulet on her wrist. Luoichen, I owe you another favor. Su Luo said in her heart. At this time, Su Luo really could feel the danger for her life and her own powerlessness. However, Su Luo found that the communication amulet did not light up. What was happening? Eldest brother Hua smiled and proudly sneered. I set this shield barrier up. You can't send any form of communication for 100 feet. It is impossible to send out any form of communication, little girl. Su Luo's eyes slightly narrowed, feeling anxious in her heart. She couldn't even say her last words? Su Luo staggeringly stood up. However, before she could stand still, another golden fist hit her chest again. Su Luo's body was like a ruined rag doll, rapidly flying backwards. Boom! The strong power wave slammed Su Luo into the ground. Su Luo's body was very fragile, and had no strength to resist. She laid quietly on the ground, coughing intermittently, and bright red blood poured out of her mouth. Her eyes were blurred but calm. As the steady steps came toward her, she could feel the hands of death dragging her into hell. Was death like this? This wasn't what she had planned for. Su Luo struggled to stand up, but found that she had no strength in her body. Not only that, She could even die from the pain of just breathing. A long sword in eldest brother Hua's hand was coldly shimmering. He was only 3 steps away from Su Luo. For Su Luo, the strength of eldest brother Hua was not something to look down upon. Right now, she couldn't defeat him. At that moment, a whistle suddenly rang. Big Sister Wei, who was fighting with Qing Yi, found a purple bottle, put it in her mouth, and she swallowed all the pills inside in one go. In an instant, Big Sister Wei felt her strength soar. Big Sister Wei held a broad dagger with both hands, descended from the air and slashed into Qing Yi. Qing Yi didn't expect that Big Sister Wei, who she was just equal in strength to mere moments before, suddenly increased her strength to such a degree. At the moment of shock, Big Sister Wei's broad dagger suddenly slashed out. Qing Yi's arm could not dodge on time and was cut off. The blood burst forth like a spring. Qing Yi froze, almost unable to react, until the severe pain came from her right hand. But when Qing Yi finally reacted and screamed, Big Sister Wei had already rushed toward eldest brother Hua with a broad dagger. Big Sister Wei's violent broad dagger dance went for the critical angles. For a moment, eldest brother Hua was desperately fending her off, but he couldn't shake her off. Little Luo, let's go. Big Sister Wei screamed at Su Luo while she was dancing with her broad dagger frantically. Because Big Sister Wei attacked with vicious ferocity, eldest brother Hua was momentarily caught off guard. But when he soon recovers, Big Sister Wei and Su Luo would both die. Instead of the two of them dying, it was better to let Su Luo escape. This was Big Sister Wei's subconscious thought. Su Luo's eyes turned red. With Big Sister Wei's sudden surge in strength, she now had a good chance to escape on her own instead of fighting with eldest brother Hua. Weren't Big Sister Wei's actions no different from suicide? That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.